Hey everybody, it's Tim at Broken Dice. This is going to be a video on the first battle of my Season 2 of my solo wargaming project, Rome in Iberia. So let's kind of take a look at the forces arrayed, and then we'll talk about a couple of special rules I've placed on the armies. I did a video on my methodology for this turn, so I don't want to really go through all the objectives and what I need to do, and the fact that it's a problem-solving exercise for me rather than a managerial style solo war game where I kind of just manage both sides and see how that comes out. So I'm going to take the camera up a little bit, and we're going to first look over here on my left. We have a unit of Scutari. There are 2 units of Cetrate there in open order. Skirmishers out front, light cavalry to the left. And one little point of note, this is my unreliable ally for the game. Be interesting to see how this turns out. And then in the center, we have, again, I'm sorry, I should open those up. I only put 3 guys on a 50 mil base, but they're in open order. And then that's Cetrate, and then in front of them we have Scutari. Some slingers out front. Then we have more Scutari and some more Cetrate in open order in the back. And on the far right of the Iberian line, we have the army commander, and he has a large unit of Scutari. He has a unit of medium cavalry to his front, and then he is surrounded by 4 units of open order Cetrate. On the Roman side, let's move the camera. We'll go Roman over here. And you can see that we have 4 cohorts on the division on the right, led by a sub-commander. Got some archers out front. And then towards the center, let me move across the light here. And then in the center, we have a unit of archers in 3 cohorts. And then on the far left of the Roman line, my far right, we have our allied contingent of a Celtic warband, Gaelic medium cavalry, and some Illyrian light infantry with long spears, and some slingers to their front. All right, since I've already rolled to see who is my unreliable ally, we will get into the orders phase and see what happens here. So first up, the army general is going to call for an advance of all of his light troops, the Cetrate, in his division, and we will see how this roll turns out. Oh yeah, he rolls a 5, and so he's an 8. That means they go 3 moves. That'll put them in range probably of taking care of these. I'm going to smooth this down here a little bit so we can see what's going on. This is, back up a little bit, the division that's going to be moving. So I've got Cetrate there and Cetrate all the way over here on the Iberian far right. And they pass their orders by 3, and they're going to move out and engage the archers to the front. Let me pause this while I make the move. Sorry, we had a little bit of a break there for some reason. I hit the wrong button. So what we're going to do here is we are going to look at this Iberian far left. Now, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, this is my unreliable ally. We start rolling differently for him at the end of turn 2. At the end of turn 2, if he fails an order for his division or any unit that he gives a direct order to, it immediately goes to the blunder table. Yeah, this ought to be interesting. Okay, so let's roll for him. He's going to advance with his light troops, his open order Ketrate, and his skirmishers to the front. And we roll, and he fails as well. Rolled another 10. It's not good, not a good start, although it's not unexpected for somebody who's not as into the conflict as everyone else. So that's the end of the movement phase right now. So now we're going to go to the shooting phase for my Iberians, which will take us back to the right. So let's move the camera on down. And we will take a close-up look at what's going on right here. Let's do it this way. All right. We got 2 units of open order light infantry, Ketrate, and they will be throwing their javelins at the Roman archers to their front. Oh, here they are. In short range, each unit has 2, so there'll be 4 shots going at my opponents there, the archers, and they are also skirmishing archers. So we'll need more to hit them. So it would be a 6 or 5 or 6. Well, I only hit them once. There is no save, so they do take a point of damage. Oh, I rolled a 6, so yeah, they will have to take a break test on the ranged attack table. So let me get that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and so we see the movement of the skirmishing archers have fled back through the Roman cohort. Oop, I need to push this up. I will take care of that damage marker here in just a moment before we get to the Roman turn, part of turn 1. So that ends the Iberian phase of turn 1. Not very, I don't know, eventful, although it was something, but 2 divisions failing to move. I think they may live to regret this, so let's move on and take care of the Roman side. All right, we're back at the game. Movement is done for this Roman right division. As you can tell up here on the top left that 1 unit of Romans, the cohort, which would be the first cohort, had woods to move through, so they had to go into open order, which takes a move. They moved up, changed formation, moved through the terrain feature, and then had to reform. So that took their 3 moves. The others have moved up quite far, 18 inches as a matter of fact. So this is going to be a hard one here, especially if this Iberian left division doesn't get itself into gear and do something. I may have to try to get my extra division back here on the table as soon as possible. This may be rough. Okay, so now let's go over and take a look at the center division of the Roman forces. Okay, here we have a interesting situation that has come up, and it will definitely invoke one of the special rules that I put in for the Spanish troops. All Spanish troops have the ability to evade and to have feigned flight. I've done this, and this is because of a lot of the research I've done and a lot of the reading I've done. One of the tactics that the Spanish troops used to do was that they would run in an organized charge at a unit, stop, and turn and run away. And they would repeat this process over and over and over again, trying to get someone to break their formation. Much like in the East with many of the, like the Seleucids, well, not so much the Seleucids, but the Parthians and the Mongols of a later date, that feigned flight thing, they were using it as infantry. So this may be an interesting moment here. So we're going to have the Romans, because they have units to the front, he's going to issue an order for advance to contact with those light troops to his front. Now, if that order is passed and they can reach these light troops to charge, then I am going to allow them to evade. But I still have to roll to see how far they evade. And so I'm going to roll a die 3 for each one. Actually, that's 2 small units right there. And so I'm going to roll a dice for each one. We'll see how far they evade. The Romans may catch one, or they may not catch either one, or they could catch both. Either way, we'll see here in just a moment. Well, these Iberian troops got very lucky because the Romans failed their orders to charge. But I have given the Roman troops the special rule of eager. So that means that they can move one move and if they fail a charge. All right. And I've also given them the ability to countercharge like cavalry does. Because one of the things that was indicative of Roman tactics was unless they were very raw troops or they were caught with their pants down, basically like in an ambush, or a couple of times it happened to Caesar when he was fighting the Germans and the Gaulish troops in Gaul, that they were charged so fast that they couldn't countercharge. But in this game, and in this campaign, the Roman troops will have that ability to countercharge with their infantry. Okay, so they failed their order, so they get to make one move because of the special rule of eager, and we're going to move them one move. And if they make contact, then I am going to give an order for the Iberians to go ahead and evade. So let's do the measuring and we'll see what happens. So as we see, the Romans didn't have enough movement to actually reach the Iberian forces. We must have slipped down a little bit down the hill. They're not really that far. There we go. Okay, so the Iberians did not have to evade, but it looks like we may have to evade here in the next turn, unless, of course, both units want to charge in and try to take on that cohort. But I don't see that as a winning proposition, but it may be something that I don't have a choice in. All right, so on the Roman far left, the Iberian right, as we're looking at it, that division with the cavalry on the hill are going to issue a charge order for the division. And we're going to see if we can't just wipe away all those pesky little open order troops that are in our front. So I will move the camera. This is the area that we're concerned with. So let me roll for their orders and we'll be right back. Well, it appears that it's either feast or famine. So this division order, they passed it by 3. So the entire thing is going to surge for 3 moves. Well, that precludes anything from the Iberian light infantry, the Iberian light infantry to do. So they are definitely going to have to evade. We'll see how far they evade, and hopefully they can get away. But I think with that cavalry being able to move, 27 inches? I don't think they're going to get very far. And that's terrible news to have that horde of Gaelic warriors coming screaming at the Iberians on this flank as well. So I'm going to move this camera because it's in the way, and I will come back as soon as I get all these moves done. You'll have to excuse me on this one because I'm going to have to hold the camera up because it's too much terrain and troops are in the way. As you can see, the Romans advanced pretty far, but the problem was that the cavalry could go so much further than the infantry that it precluded the infantry from really completing their entire movement. Now, that infantry would not have made contact with that other light infantry of Quetrate for the Spanish, but they would have been much further up ahead. But because the cavalry have the greater move and the greater speed, I always move them first, and they block basically the rest of the infantry from moving forward. If it would have been a completed charge, I probably would have done something where if they would have made contact, I would have done a thing where I allow them to make contact, but I don't count it as being a charge. I just let them fight the combat, which from the size of that unit and the light infantry in front of them, I think they're going to win. But the cavalry did make contact, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to fight this combat out, and we'll see what happens. I'll be right back. Okay, with the dice rolled, we see that the light infantry has become shaken. They took 4 damage. Poor dice rolling on the Gaelic cavalry, and in return, the light infantry were able to inflict 2 damage on the cavalry. I thought that was right. I really thought they'd just bust right through them. So now we need to go to the break test table and roll for our light infantry. Well, you won't believe this. I rolled a 9. Terrible. I really thought that was the end of that light infantry unit, but I rolled a 9, which means they hold their ground with no penalty. And that brings us to the end of turn 1. All righty. That being said, be interesting to see how turn 2 turns out. My goodness, it's not going well. All righty, I got a lot of problems to solve. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Probably ready to do turn 2 pretty soon. I mean, within a couple of days, I'll have this one up, that one up, ready to roll. But until that time, everybody stay safe, stay well, and I will see you next time. Okay, so this is the correction part of the video where I go back and I explain the mistakes I made. So, the one mistake I made, and I need to clarify some things that got missed in the first part of the video. Somehow I erased the movement of the general's troops, the role of the failed order for the central division of the Iberian army. They didn't move at all. So those 2 things did not get shown in the video, which surprised me, but I'll get better with this sort of. This is the first time I've kind of done a battle report this way. Normally I do it like a PowerPoint presentation. I think I'm going to do them this way this time. You guys let me know what you think, because sometimes, you can edit stuff out better with the PowerPoint thing and kind of do it by photos, but I don't know. I kind of like doing it this way. So basically what happened is, with this combat in front with the light infantry, Quetrate, and the Gaelic medium cavalry, I said I rolled a 9. Well, what I didn't do is take into consideration they lost the combat by 2, which makes it a 7. So 2 things have to happen. One, the Quetrate have to give ground. Now, they don't become disordered, but they have to give ground. But the cavalry that's right behind them, they have to do a make way move. And they're between 2 small sets of woods, which really doesn't do them much good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle them kind of in, let's see, kind of that direction to make way. And they're going to do their one move. The cavalry will push the Catrati units back. I will roll for disorder for the cavalry moving, making its make way. And they become disordered on a roll of 1, 2, or 3. So let's go ahead and let's make this roll. I rolled a 6, so they are not going to become disordered. So let me move them out of the way. And they will make a 9-inch move. All right. Move. Move. There we go. All right. They've made way. This pushes this Catrati unit back 6 inches. All right. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. There. They've got that. I don't need that dice because they're shaking now. And then they need to make a choice here. So this is the thing. Tactically speaking, would that cavalry continue to push forward? Or would it do the logical thing in game terms and not present its flanks to 2 other units by chasing this light infantry? So what I'm going to do is take this, my my feeling is in this problem-solving exercise I'm in, I would love for them to keep contact, because then that would give me the ability to charge them in the flank and get rid of them and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to roll a dice, and then I'm going to, like 1, 2, 3, or 4, 1, 2, and 3, they will maintain contact. On a 4, 5, or 6, they will not, and they will just remain in place. So let us roll a dice and let's see what happens here. Okay. I rolled a 2. So that means that unit maintains contact. Okay? So we'll move them up, and that will officially end turn number 1 the correct way. All right. Again, everybody stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you next time.